Whew, okay, I'm just catching my breath. That was a rather eventful situation. So for those of you that don't know, Jezebel is a bit fear-reactive to dogs, and Lucy can be a little bit reactive as well. And Riley tends to be very protective of them. So just to avoid situations getting out of hand, I try to walk the dogs at the dam when there's no other people, no other dogs around, so that I don't have to have 3 dogs that I'm trying to manage at the same time. Especially with a very protective Pitbull mix male that tends to step up to the plate when the females are anxious. So usually I try to go on Mondays, but my car's gearbox was unfortunately faulty, and I only got it back this morning thanks to my husband, who worked through the night to fix it. Thank you very much. Anyway, as I arrived to the dam, I did spot another vehicle there and wasn't too sure if the people there were with dogs or not, but I decided to take my chance and went walking. Everything was fine until I got to the bend that goes next to the dam, and as I was walking, the dogs were running and playing and having fun. I spot 2 shapes in the distance, and I quickly realize it's dogs, and that's when I decide to turn heel before my dogs could see them, and that we can just get out of the situation and have a confrontation. I tried to move as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the 2 dogs had spotted us and decided to start chasing us. And then I realized it was 2 Great Danes. And they were chasing us. And of course, now I had a situation, and just as I feared, my 2 females were terrified with the big massive dogs powering towards them, and my male Pitbull was like, no you're not, and charged them. And of course by this time recall was not working, because these 2 Great Danes did not want to leave me and the females alone. And Riley wasn't too keen on the situation, and a dog fight ensued. And at that point, my 2 females were hysterical, and I was just trying to get them out of the situation, hopefully create a little bit of distance, and try to call back Riley while freaking out, not knowing what I'm going to do. This is my worst nightmare, because even though my male Pitbull is quite strong and fit and fast and assertive, it is 2 Great Danes. I don't know what these Great Danes are like. I don't know them from anywhere, and I can't see any owners anywhere, and I'm shouting and screaming, please fetch your dogs, nobody's answering. I can see nobody, so for all I know, these 2 dogs are wandering around in the mountains on their own, having a glorious time, and they don't have any owners with them. Anyway, so I take the 2 females around, put their leashes kind of on a pillar, because I'm trying to get my male dog back. By this time it sounds like the fighting has stopped, and last I seen them, like, they were kind of just like all standing around posturing. I couldn't quite make out, but I wanted to go fetch him. So the next thing I know, here comes Riley trotting with his tail up, shoulders up, with the 2 Great Danes happily following him, having accepted that he's the boss. And he's like, don't worry, Mom, I got you sorted. Everything is fine. They're with us now. Of course, my two females were not quite convinced of the situation because these two dogs are the size of lions or horses. And they keep wanting to come towards me and the females, and I keep trying to put the females behind me. And Jezebel's, of course, terrified and barking, and Lucy's also terrified and barking. And at this point, I'm terrified and barking at them to go away because they will not leave me alone, and they won't stop trying to eat my dogs. And every time they come forward, Riley would just check them and walk in, and he's like, no, keep your distance. And he was basically very friendly but very firmly saying, you don't come 2 meters within my mom and my sisters. And we just stood there at a stairway. Eventually the Great Danes got bored and they walked away. And by the looks of it, there was no bloodshed or anything. Basically, Riley had just very much explained to them that he will if he has to. And they just obviously decided that it's not worth it and he can be the boss if he wants. Oh, okay, so that could have been very, very bad. I don't know where the owners are. I really don't. They had collars, beautiful collars around them with like name tags on, but I couldn't get close enough to maybe like get the number to phone the owners and say, hey, your dogs are loose. I did turn around and try to go back to find Riley's ball because that was abandoned within the scuffle. I saw a lady in the distance that looked like she had maybe a black Scottish Terrier with her, and I tried to get her attention and she just ignored me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to take my dogs now in a different direction, and took them over to the side of the dam. And then I heard a lot of dogs barking and howling. I don't know if there was even more dogs with her then. Almost sounded like beagles. And we just basically hid out of the wind so that the dogs wouldn't pick us up, and came all the way back. And now we're looking for the ball. Can't find it. I don't know if you can hear me, the wind's blowing very bad, and I don't have my other camera or my other mic here. But yeah, so here they are, all happy, having a ball. Riley's walking around like the king of the jungle, because clearly he is. And that was intense, but at least a happy ending.